What's up everybody, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're doing the part 2 of our mix series where in part 1 we actually did the organization and we're trying to make the tracks as nice as possible and preparing our tracks for the mixing phase. So in the second video today we're going to be taking a deeper look into the tracks themselves, and we're going to be actually pre-mixing them, okay? And if you're not aware yet, I actually have a guide all about mixing and my personal mixing process. So it's completely free. Just download it in the description box below, and you can follow along with these videos if you like. It gives you a step-by-step framework to follow if you are interested in the process of mixing. So I definitely recommend checking that out. And I will see you back here right now. Okay, so let's continue. On the last video, we color-coded our tracks, we organized them by section, So the next step to do is now to prepare the actual tracks themselves and make them primed for mixing. So what I mean by this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all the tracks and I'm going to apply an EQ to all of them. So I'm going to go to my favorite EQ, Pro Q2. This works with any EQ, by the way. You don't need this one. But let's just start here. So the good thing about Pro Q2 personally is that it doesn't take up that much processing power. And I shouldn't forget, I'm going to apply an EQ to these contact instances as well, because those are also, the instruments that are playing. Okay, cool. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through, let's go one by one here. And I'm going to go through and see if there are any unwanted frequencies, and if there are, I'm just going to take them out right away. Okay, so I'm just going to, this process actually takes a little bit of time, so here we go. So this one's actually not too bad. Right away I'm looking for the sub-frequencies, and if I don't see any sub-frequencies building up too much, then I can pay more attention to the upper frequencies here. So I'm going to use something called sweep and destroy. I'm going to come up, search around here for a frequency that sounds a bit off. This is fine. Right here, this frequency is sounding a little bit boxy, a touch harsh. So I'm going to take a bit of this out, just like that. Yeah. So at the same time, I'm actually going to do a little bit of boosting of the high frequencies as well, because I like how the airiness of the strings is cutting through. So I want to enhance that just a little bit. Kind of like this. I'm also going to press the A here, which just balances the volumes of everything out. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So now we have the bass drum. Now here you can immediately see how much low end there is here. So we don't want too much of that. I'm going to do actually a low cut. I'm going to take out those lowest frequencies. Up to around 50, I'm thinking. You hear it, so this is what is actually below 50. Let's hear that again. So I like that boom right there. I'm just going to take this part out. The stuff that's really low. See if there's anything else I can take away. Oops, wrong one. So this part, I don't really like this frequency over here. I'm going to widen that a little bit because I feel like this frequency is quite wide. What happens if I take away too much? Let's go over here. Then it loses a little bit too much of the body, so just there. That's good. Anything else? You hear there's a bit of like windiness here. A bit of this echo, I don't really like that. Take that out. Okay. Now there's a bit of this airiness in the top I like. It's kind of like the stick hitting the drum. You hear that? So I'm gonna boost that a little bit there. And I kind of like that. Let's hear it before and after. So this is without. And then with. Do you hear immediately how much more punchy and clean that is, right? Because we took out a lot of these sub-frequencies, which over like the course of many tracks, in this piece I actually have about 45 tracks. So over the course of all of these instruments building up together, especially recorded in rooms, the low end is just going to overload and cause the overall mix to have too many low frequencies. So the bass drum, that one's finished. And then the tubular bells, this one shouldn't be too tricky because it's kind of a high frequency instrument. But here you can see there are those sub-frequencies again, those are popping up. So I'm going to take these out because those are not needed. We don't really hear those anyway. So let's repeat this section so we can hear this. Even up to 200, you don't really hear much of that. You just hear a bit of an echo. Now actually, I don't hear any frequencies here that are actually really bad. So in this case, I'm actually going to take away this, and I'm just going to leave the low cut because that's really all that's needed. The overall sound, the tone of the instrument is very good to my ears. So the tubular bells is now finished. Okay, let's move on. Now, I know the Cinematic Studio Strings library usually has quite a bit of these low frequencies. So if you take a look here, let's this is violins 1. Okay, cool. Just gonna repeat. Let's see. Right there. First I'm gonna take away this bottom end. Don't need it. Now you could argue that this doesn't sound that great, but it's kind of belongs to the overtone series, so it's not a deliberately bad sound. I'm looking for something that really offends the sound. The only thing I really want to do, honestly, is just to boost the top end a little bit. And I'm going to widen this out, because I feel like more of those frequencies can be included. Just like that. So without it, do you hear more of that hall? You hear kind of the woodiness in the overall sound. But with it on, it just cleans it up a little bit. So you take out the unnecessary low frequencies, you boost kind of these higher ones that make it a little bit airier. Now you look at the frequency spectrum here, you see these are pointing up here, these big peaks. So these are all the overtones of the instrument itself, which is really cool to see. So those are all crucial pieces of information for the sound itself. So that's why I'm not going to cut that. Okay, so a cool thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to press Option, I'm going to hold and click and hold and then drag over. And this is going to apply that same EQ curve to any other track I drag it to. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to drag it over to these other ones because it gives me a good starting point for these other tracks. So let's double check. So the celli, the violas, and double basses all have the same EQ curve. Now I'm going to go and adjust accordingly. So this is honestly fine. I'm expecting to have to do more in the so this is Cine strings. And you see this big bump in the bottom here, so I'm going to cut that out. could even go all the way up to 300, honestly. Yeah, nothing is really bad there. Again, just a little bit of this enhanced higher frequencies should be good enough. Cool, let's move on to the violas. So can we cut out the lows? Yeah, nothing here that's really bothering me. Let's see the celli. This I'm going to move down actually because I want the lows of the more body of the celli, which resides more of in the 100 to 200 range. So I'm going to keep that. Let's see what we have here. Something annoying going on in this frequency. Yeah, you kind of get this scratchy sound. I'm going to take some of this out. It's kind of a fine balancing act though, because you don't want to take out too much and destroy the body of the sound. Maybe just that much is enough. Anything else? So maybe a little bit of the scratchiness here. Dang. Okay, there we go. So I'm pretty happy with that. All right, let's move on. So here I have my celli ostinato. Let's hear that. She comes up here. Now the cool thing about this is that it's already been EQ'd a little bit by the developers. Don't really like that sound. You hear that? So I'm going to take that out. But I want the grit. There we go. You get more of the tug of the string, you know? Okay, next. So here's another. Now these are like double basses and celli. So there's a little bit too much low in there. I'm going to cut some of that out. Let's go up to like maybe 40 or so. There we go. Oops. that same range. This low one's kind of nice. I'm going to boost that just a little bit. Boost that a touch for that high end. And then with the EQ, it's just a lot tighter, in my opinion. And then here's Berlin strings violas. A lot of low end in this one I can take out. I like this range over here. Boost that a little bit. There we go. Make sure it's balanced out. So you can see this process does take a while, but that's what you got to do to bring the best out of your tracks, you know? Where are we next? Now, just hearing this sound by itself, I don't think there's going to be too many problems. So you can see the subs are coming out though, so I got to take that out. Let's reduce the range of this loop. There we go. There we go. Trust me, this process of taking out the unnecessary lows is going to contribute to like 80% of the mix. Okay, let's keep going. Violin staccatos. Now, you can definitely hear a lot of room noise in this one, so you could definitely take out the lows. Got an awkward frequency right there. Bring out some of those highs again. These are very general moves, you can see. Okay, let's bring out some lows. Low strings sustains. Where are these guys? Oh, I think they're actually at the very end. Yeah. Let's see, how much lows do I need to take out? Maybe just up to like 30. If anything, I like this low end that it's bringing, so I'm going to raise that up a little bit there. Now let's find the... wait. Just a little bit there bothering me. I feel like the meat of the sound is also coming around here, so I'm going to boost that just a touch. Okay, cool. Next. Then we're still on the strings, by the way, as you can see. Okay, so let's go to here. Just that one string run will do. This is Sinistrings runs, by the way. So again, take this slower part out. I hope you don't mind me not talking as much. This part requires a lot of focus. So you hear this boxiness there. This is beautiful here. So before and after. Right. So if you just let's listen to the mix what we have so far, just in the strings. Let's go. It already sounds a touch cleaner compared to the first pass through of the mix. This is also, you know, it's just really fun because you see these improvements starting to happen. I'm going to expand the view a little bit so I can see where these tracks are actually playing. That would be helpful. A string trums. This is from Cineorg. Lovely library. Love it. Now I'm playing these string tremolos relatively high, so. Hear the air in there. The air's kind of nice, but it's not really necessary. Let's see what else we can find. Anything I can accentuate and bring out. So this range here feels like it's really opening up, so I like this. Just like that. Cool. Okay, next. This is Berlin strings, violins 1. So you can see already in this frequency analyzer, too much lows. Take that out. So now, when those peaks pop up where I'm holding my sweeping method, it might sound a little bit bad just because those, just because those frequencies are a little bit accentuated too much, those overtones, but it doesn't mean they're bad, it just means those fundamentals are popping up, that's all. I like the overall tone, so... And I think it cuts through pretty well, so I'm just gonna leave that one. Almost in the strings. Let's check. A lot of room sound. You hear this honky sound. Take that out. Boost a bit of those highs. Let it cut through. Now these basses don't need too much treatment. Maybe just a little bit of a trimming on the very end, at the very bottom, but I could even take out some of the highs, honestly, because basses naturally play lower, so just like that. The warmth of the sound comes out here. And everything else is okay. So that one's on, good. All right. Now generally the flute I like a lot from Berlin Woodwinds. I don't usually have to do too much, except taking out a tiny bit of the room. But again, it's not even that big of a deal. Bit of cloudiness here. A little bit of that. There we go. That really brings it out. The airiness. Okay, here we go. Hollywood Winds runs. I love them. So let's hear this. I'll let the run finish, actually. Definitely the room sound is there, so let's take that out. This one I just want to bring out the highs. I want to keep the other frequencies relatively intact because those runs span a frequency or quite a large range of frequencies because they're starting low, they're going high, they're starting high and going low. So you don't want to take out any like really important things there. Hollywood Wind staccato. Here we go. Again, this is a case of a lot of room. Let's do around 130. Just like that. All right, almost there. So these are Hollywood Wind sustains. Just lower the range here. There we go. When it's sustained, it's a little bit easier to hear which frequencies stand out as not being as good, so. So this part was a little bit boxy, a little bit honky. I just want more of the lows, and I like the highs. There we go. Flute trills from Berlin Woodwinds. Beautiful sound. Now I'm actually surprised not much of the Taldex Hall is being picked up here in the lows, so that's really nice. You can see this is peaking up here. Nothing super wrong with that, to be honest. Maybe just boost that touch there, that's all. So I can definitely take out a lot of these lows. Let's just add in a little bit of the highs. Just a touch. I don't mind the other ones. All right, let's move on. Bassoon. I don't need one there. All right. Actually, let's move it back here. This one I can just boost here because this was recorded in a little booth, so there's not very much low end in the recording. All right, now I'm going to definitely have to EQ these the brass. Look at this room sound right there. It just piles on. Lovely as you are, center brass, I have to cut you. I'm sorry. Little bit of honkiness in the horns. That's all I need for that. Trombones. A little bit of a cut's okay. Hear that? It's very honky, very unpleasant. Yep. There's the highs that I want. Cool, cool. Almost there, my friends. Almost there. Okay, this is solo horn from center brass. Look at that room sound. Look at it. Now, this is such a sweet tone. I really want to bring this out a little bit. The tone really comes in this area, so I'm going to expand this. There we go. And just open up the airiness a little bit. There we go. Now the trombones and the horns are actually, you know what, I should move this trombone up to next to the horns so that, because they're both playing the melody. Okay, and this already did, so that's fine. Okay, so here we go. These are the horn ensemble staccatos from Berlin Brass, so really good for just cinematic stuff. Very big room sound. But as a result, a lot of excess frequencies that we don't need. Ooh, yeah, listen to that. It just opens up. I love that. So here's a before and after. Right, just clears up immediately. Okay, so what do we have here? Brass chords. Love it. This should be pretty simple to EQ. Honestly, nothing that terrible there. I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, timpani, I definitely need to EQ this guy. He is overloading with frequencies. Hear how low those go, actually? It's amazing. Oof, there it is. There is a frequency I don't know. There's another one. Hear that? I like this, the body of the sound over here. Right? And then you also get the click, the impact right there, which is nice. So the muddiness is gone. Cymbals shouldn't be too tricky. They do have a lot of room sound though. Nothing too terrible there. Okay. Snare and tom hit. Maybe a little bit of the lows. I can bring this up just a touch. The body there. But I want that click. Yeah, so you know what? For this one, I'm actually going to do a high shelf. So I get all of those highs. Nice. Okay. So this is before. So it's a little more cloudy, a little more muddy. And then on. There we go. Opens up nicely. Okay, the snare itself. Gotta clear this up. Now right here is where that click is, that C sharp. Dun, dun, dun. So that click is coming out really nicely. I want to accentuate that just a little bit. Don't really need the body of the snare too much because this frequency is already being taken up by a lot of other instruments, especially tonal instruments. So we want to give the other instruments the room to take up that frequency. Don't want the snare to overpower there. And then maybe a little bit of air on the top. There it is. Perfect. there. Okay, Glock. Let's go. I'm gonna accentuate the tops a little bit. I like this warmth. Yeah, there's no sound, there's no frequencies in here that are really offending me, so that's fine. And then Cineorc, there's the glue we're talking about. Not too bad, actually. That's fine. This is really the only part where I have the harps playing a Plux. Sandy? Let's take the very lows out. Actually, other than that, yeah, I need the top. That's all. I like the rest. I like the whole body of the sound. Okay, choirs, here we go. You might think that sounds a little bit muddy, but again, that's just where their fundamentals are. Actually, that's fine. No need to take anything there. Male. Here we go. Just play that part. Take out this. There we go. Some staccatos. Female choir staccatos. Take out the lows. that to auto gain scale. Great. And you know what? For this male one, I'm just going to drag this over. Option, click, drag. Let's hear the men. Same idea. I like the airiness. Perfect. Last one. So now we just got to hear the ooze. So again, a lot of room sound. Take that out. This actually has no problems there. Beautiful sound. All right, now let's have a quick listen to, I don't know, let's listen to the beginning a little bit. And this will be night and day actually. So if you haven't watched the first video yet, please do so. I do a quick playthrough of the mix before I actually did any of this pre-mix EQ. So if you haven't done that, go listen to that and then come back and then listen to this. And on that perfect cadence, I will now end that. Okay, so anyway, I hope you can tell the difference. It just clears up everything a lot more. It makes everything a lot more exciting, a lot more open, in my opinion. And this is basically the first step I will take before actually diving into the actual mixing process of doing a static mix, making sure all the tracks are balanced ideally with each other. Applying plugins and all that stuff, that can all come later. But what we needed to do in this step is to prime the tracks to bring out their very best. So that's taking out the frequencies that were offending the recording and then boost the frequencies that kind of lend a little bit of extra polish to those. And that's what I wanted to do in this step. So as you can see, it took a while. It took us about 50 minutes, but I hope this process made sense. I hope it was at least slightly enjoyable to watch. And yeah, this is something we just kind of have to train our ears to listen to. But it's one of those crucial steps that you cannot skip, or else you're just taking shortcuts and they won't turn out that well. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to download that guide in the description box below if you're wondering about the other steps. And just, you can follow along with these other videos coming up with the guide. So yeah, it's for free. Just download it below, and I will see you in the next video. We'll actually be doing our static mix. So we're going to be balancing everything according to each other, and that's a really fun process as well. So until then, have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.